All right, gang. I'm gonna do a demo on drawing cups and bottles. I'll do the cups first, and I gotta keep these pretty short, so I'm gonna move right along. First of all, when we're looking at a cup, and I posted the picture on Google Classroom, so you can look at it. It's more or less exactly what I'm looking at. So the first thing that when we look at a cup or a bottle, it has a width to height ratio, just like boxes or just like anything else does. And so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and take the width to height ratio to the cup that I'm working from. And I always take the width from the widest point, and that way you are just consistent in terms of your measuring. So I'm taking the width from the widest points, and I'm taking the height and I'm comparing it to the height at the top edge, which is the back edge of the cup. So in this case, it's just a little more than 2. So remember, we have width to height, which in this case is 1 to 2. So my cup is going to be twice as wide, or twice as tall as it is wide. So if this is how wide I'm doing it, I'll double that, and I have my height: top, bottom, left, and right. So I'm finding the border of the cup, basically. So next, I'm going to make the cup about this big, so I need to do it about that wide. So here's my width, and then if I want to be exact, which I think I do, and you should too, here is my width. So my height is here, and I will double that right to here. Okay, so here's my bottom, here's my top, here's the left, and here's the right. All right, so the first thing we want to do, and it's important that you're consistent with this, is you find the center of the cup. Because cups and bottles are manufactured, they are perfectly symmetrical. So I'll measure this, or what you could do actually is just get a sheet of paper. Excuse my reach. Simply fold it in half, and you have your center. Okay, so here's the center. I'm going to make one more point. I'm just going to eyeball this, although you should be more precise. But I'm trying to keep this under 10 minutes. Here's my left, right, here's my center. Okay. Now that I have that, I can draw the line of symmetry. So here's my line of symmetry. Okay. Here's my left and right side. So what I could do is actually mark my left, or my right rather, mark my left. I like, when I'm measuring, I like to look at the inside of what I'm measuring. So instead of drawing a line like this, I'll draw the line like this, and I'm eyeballing the distance of the ruler. So this is crooked. I'm going to try and make that really nice and even. So both these sides look even and equal, so I can move on here. All right, so here's the top back edge of my cup that I'm looking at, and the next thing I need to know is where is the bottom, or the front edge of the top. Okay, to do that, I can measure it. So what I'll do is I'll measure the cup, the opening of the cup, and I'll see how many it takes to get to the bottom. Or if that's too many measurements, you can take the opening of the cup and turn it and measure it into the width. So I'm looking at this here. I know it looks something like this, but I need to know how wide it is. So I'll get my measuring stick out. I'm going to turn this measurement and turn it into the width to see how many there are. remember that you're doing it at the largest width. You're measuring it to be consistent. So I have exactly 3. So I know 1/3 of this distance is how tall this is. So I'll do this. Let's see. That looks 1, 2, 3. That looks pretty good. Okay. So either get a piece of paper again and mark it. I use a piece of paper a lot for measuring and for repeating measurements. And you should too. It makes it much easier. So now I have the opening of my cup. Okay. So now what I need to do, and you can clean up a little bit. I'm just trying to make some marks that are darker so that you can see them. But now I have the top of the opening, the middle of the top of the opening, which is the highest point. I have the lowest point of the ellipse, we call this, at the bottom. Now I need to find the center, which is here, and I'm going to eyeball it. But now you find that point, which is the furthest left edge, and you come across to this point and you find the furthest right edge. If these are crooked, your ellipse won't look right. Mine seems a little crooked, so I'm going to fix it. So now what I've drawn here essentially is the major axis of this ellipse, which is the longest width, and I have the minor axis, which is the height of the ellipse, which is its shortest point from edge to edge. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Before I do the ellipse, I need to find the bottom. I've already found the center of the cup. This is the lowest point of the bottom. The sides go up. If you do a flat cup, it doesn't look round. If you do a cup that has a round bottom, then it appears as if this center is closer to you. And these edges are further back. You don't always see the back edge, but this is even further away, and here's the center of the cup. All right? So I now know that this is the bottom. Somewhere in here is the center of the cup, and then there's a back edge even higher. All right. So now that I have the bottom, I realize that the cup is smaller on the inside. So anything I do over here, I have to do equally over here. So I'm going to move this in. I'm going to check the angle of the cup. And I am going to translate that, try and find the point. It's about here. So it's about this much distance from here, which I'll repeat over to here. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now it's a matter of kind of translating these lines, connecting the points. All right, so now I have the bottom. Now what I have to do is I don't want a straight line. I want to make it appear as if the sides go back into space, so I need to go evenly up. So I'll just kind of draw a straight line here, and I'll come down to the point, round it up, and go up, okay? Notice how this sort of rounded edge triangle, if I flipped it, looks exactly like this. And that's what we're looking for, is the symmetry. All right. So now let's do the top. I already know that the minor axis and the major axis. So what I want to do is round this out. This is my lowest point right in the center. From there I have to go up. And from here I have to go up. I want to round that edge. And I want to hit this point here, round it up, hit the back. There's my 10-minute marker. All right. I need to fix this ellipse a little bit. I'm going to stop this and start a new one. And, all right.